Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. If this is the first time that you're seeing me, I am the Hermit Tarot and this is my YouTube channel. It feels very crazy to do this sort of setup again. It's been a little bit since I've done it. We're doing a pick a group tarot reading. In front of you, you can see each of the groups. I am a tarot reader, and this reading is going to be about a specific connection or person that is on your mind. Now, the nature of these readings can be for either platonic or romantic connections. It is up to you. I will take more of a romantic lens on the connection in your reading. I'm filming your intro after I've done all the readings, so that's why I already know how it's going to kind of go. But I encourage you to practice your discernment. If you want to focus on a platonic connection, just keep in mind that some of the language at times is centered around romantic connections. So filter it out, be discerning, and only take what resonates for you. Now, by looking at this person's honest intentions, we're also going to get a quick glimpse into what your connection is like right now. This will help confirm whether you have selected the right group, and it will also offer more context for this person's intentions. We'll close your reading here on YouTube with channeled messages from them about their intentions, and we're also going to get advice for you just so that you can leave feeling empowered by the information that you have and how you can move forward. The extended readings for each group will be quite different. I've got some scrollings here of what each group can expect in their extended readings, and it really is depending on what comes through in your readings. So I highly encourage you to focus more on what's happening here on YouTube. If the reading resonates and you want those additional messages in the extended reading, there'll be more information about that in your YouTube reading. Double check the link below when you click on it. Double check the description box. Double check the title of the video before you purchase your extended reading. Make sure you're purchasing the right one for your group. I think that's all from me. Let's introduce you to each of the groups. So I chose candles that are all from a family business or a friend of the family, and they're beautiful. They're all about the same size. You'll notice that this candle has a newer sticker compared to the other candle, but they're all the same business. They've just been going through a rebrand. So it is a small business. If you're based in Australia, you are able to buy these candles or have a look online, see if there's anything that you're interested in. They didn't pay me to do this. They have no idea that I'm doing this for them. So hopefully it's not too much for them, but I just thought I love these candles and it's a beautiful way of showing you more of my home and the things that I enjoy in my home. So group 1, you have the Japanese honeysuckle candle, and pay attention to the colors, pay attention to anything about the candle that may resonate. If you feel drawn towards this candle, you will be a part of group 1's reading. Group 2, you have the lychee and guava sorbet candle, and similar to group 1, you have your own color associated with your candle. It is at a different height because I haven't actually used it yet, and it has a very strong smell. As soon as I took the lid off this one, you can smell it. So if you feel drawn towards this candle, you will be a part of group 2's reading. And group 3, you have the Amalfi Coast candle. Now this one smells like cologne. It has a very masculine sort of smell to it, which is why it gets burned the most. It has a very strong smell, and it's an older product because it has the different labels, so it's had more time to be burned within the home. If you feel drawn towards this candle for whatever reason, you will be a part of group 3's reading. So those are the 3 groups. Let me have a look and make sure they're all in frame. Yeah, you can kind of see them all. Those are the 3 groups. Take your time to select a group. If you need more time, pause the video, and you're welcome to join me in the 1-minute meditation that will play right after this if you need more intuitive assistance to select a group. Otherwise, click on your timestamps in the description box or pinned comment and join me in your reading. To open your meditation, I'm going to ask you to take in 3 deep, mindful breaths. I want you to breathe in for 3 seconds and breathe out for 3 seconds. I will be guiding you through this. Make sure you're comfortable. Focus on the sound of my voice, and let's begin. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. Last breath. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. From this relaxed place, observe the groups in your mind. It can help if your eyes are closed. Is there a specific color you feel most drawn to right now? Perhaps it was a phrase I spoke about in the intro. Allow your relaxed mind to guide you to a group you are being most drawn to. Remember, your intuition is not a loud voice, but it is a strong voice, and it knows which of these groups contains the most honest messages for you. Allow it to guide you through symbols, colors, objects, and phrases that will connect you with the group that holds the most clear, honest messages for you. If you need more time, pause the video or repeat this meditation. Hi Group 1, and welcome to your reading. Before we get started, I want to take a quick moment to acknowledge you and thank you for being here. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you taking time to invest in me energetically. And I also just want to take a moment to acknowledge that we're all human, we all learn. And I feel that right now you're learning how to prioritize yourself more and reprioritize yourself more. You may be learning that your day does not always go the way that you want it to, whether it's because you've planned it to go a certain way or merely because you expected it to go differently. And I hope that if this finds you on a day where you're feeling a little bit defeated by the lessons, the situations, and the experiences that you've endured, I'm sending you love, and I'm acknowledging the fact that simply existing is a lot sometimes, let alone trying to be successful at it. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for sharing your energy with me. And I hope that when you leave this reading, you feel more confident about who you are and what you're doing, because you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all perfected. You simply existing is more than enough. So thank you for being you and for showing up for me. I hope I can show up for you. Let's open your reading now. I'm going to set my intentions and I'm going to connect to my spiritual team. As I chant away, I highly encourage you to consider setting your own intentions. Are there any questions you have about the connection we're asking about today? Is there any specific information you're hoping to obtain? And are there any key signs of confirmation that you need to see or hear in order to claim this reading, let me know, and I'm going to go ahead and tune into your energy right now. Spirit, please connect me to Group 1's energy. Please help me offer Group 1 clear, honest messages for their reading so that I may offer them clear, helpful advice, information, and confirmation about this connection. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so I want to open your reading by having a look at the current energy in this situation. So, Spirit, what is happening in this connection right now? What is happening in this connection right now, Spirit? I already feel a little disconnected from myself, and this kind of makes sense why. I don't know if I even said everything that I usually say in the intro, because I just felt like what I wanted to say is not what came out. It was just like I was running on autopilot mode, so maybe you can resonate with that a little bit. These cards indicate that the current energy in this connection is, on one end, you could describe it as disappointing. Really, the Five of Cups at its fundamental state describes feeling disappointed, feeling let down, feeling as though life just didn't amount to what you expected it to. And at its most extreme level, the Five of Cups can feel like grief, loss, heartbreak, and you may feel like you're grieving this person, this connection, or even a version of yourself that you were when you were in this connection, or when the connection was in a better place. I can tell straight away from these cards that your connection currently is not in a great place, and I'm only putting that tone in my voice because it's helping to lighten the mood a little bit. This feels quite heavy, Group 1. This is a connection where you don't feel like things have been fair. You don't feel like things have been equal, balanced. And fair is not always about treating everybody the same. Fair is sometimes about equity, and you feeling like you were treated the same, but it wasn't enough. You wanted more. You thought you were going to get more. Now, this connection does feel like it's in separation with these two cards. You guys may not be speaking with this card reversed, and you may have chosen to keep physical distance so that you can focus on yourselves. Now, the feminine energy is holding a lot of power, but is also very wounded. The feminine energy in this connection is feeling as though they need to be very protective of themselves. They need to isolate themselves because they feel like they've been taken advantage of. They feel like they've been pushed to a place where they acted in a way that they didn't even recognize themselves. And so the feminine energy feels like it's almost holding a grudge. Now, that is one way to interpret Venus energy reversed. The other way, especially with Libra here as well, is to see how this connection is at a point where the feminine energy especially has had to push some heavy boundaries in order to make sure that this unfair situation doesn't get worse. The feminine energy seems to hold the power, but that's only because the feminine energy is holding down values of self-worth, values of integrity, and values in general. In this situation, it feels like you and this person did not have the same values, did not have the same understanding of what this connection is and what it could be and how it was going to evolve. And so in this connection, it feels like you're both at a point where it's better to just keep space in order to preserve some sort of peace. But at its worst, for some of you, it could have gotten very messy. There could have been all kinds of words exchanged that were quite particular, that were intended to hurt. And when evidence was revealed, it indicated that trusts had been broken, promises had been broken, and expectations were broken. So the Justice card reversed is a strong feeling of injustice. It's not just, well, you promised me this and that's what I got. It's signs of a relationship breaking down because the contract, the partnership was not honored. And in this case, it could even have been a marriage that broke down because the vows were not honored. So these are heavy themes. And if that resonates, you're definitely in the right place. Let's have a look at what this person's intentions are towards you now. And I apologize for not having a lot of time this week. This reading's going to be a little bit shorter because I've got a lot of studying to do and a lot of personal readings to do. So if you would like a personal reading from me, be sure to head to my website, have a look at what's in stock, and consider booking one in. I was just interrupted by a delivery group 1, so I apologize, but let's get back into it. Let's have a look at your person's current intentions towards you. Spirit, please tune me into this person's energy. Please help me offer group 1 clear, honest messages about their person's current intentions. Oh, wow. Wow. We have Nettle coming out as your card. Okay. At the back of the deck is Yarrow, which is harmony. We have Venus energy here again, some signs of Libra, and the number 15. Now this deck, just shout out to the deck real quick, is the Herbal Astrology Oracle by Adriana Ayales. Ooh, I apologize to Adriana if she ever sees this for not saying the name properly. Spirit, what can you tell group 1 about this person's intentions? Wow. What is going on? I feel like this person doesn't know what they want, sweet soul. They don't know what they want. All they know is that they hate being wrong. They hate feeling, and I use hate to describe the intense shift in energy. I don't know if they would say they hate it, but it just feels like a whoa, a big rush of like passion. Whenever they feel like they have been made wrong or that somebody has proved them wrong, it really irks them, like it gets on their nerves. This person wants to figure out a way to bypass mistakes in this connection. Now, they don't have a lot of courage. They don't have a lot of, I'm hearing audacity, okay? We might throw that out there too, why not? They don't have a lot of courage. Maybe they also feel like the confidence in this situation is just being depleted. Like they don't have a lot of like confidence about how this is going to play out. So I would argue that there's not going to be much physical change, but there are huge internal shifts happening. Now, we spoke a lot about the feminine energy in the first part of this reading, and we're talking about energy. We're not labeling genders or sexuality or identities. We're talking about energy. The feminine energy was being very protective, was feeling very grounded and defensive about their self-worth, about their need to protect self and to stand up for self. Here we're seeing how your person's energy, whether they are the feminine or not, doesn't really know what they want. At one point, they may have wanted peace in this situation because temperance came out, but it feels like your connection is past that point now. It feels like there is no option for peace. And in some cases, there feels like there's a lot of judgment here. Like it feels like you're judging each other. And the lack of clear information, clear communication has left a lot of room for things to be blown out of proportion. Now, on one hand, some healing has taken place. And if we're just reading from your person's perspective, whether they're the feminine energy or not, they have done enough healing to be able to feel like it's in their best interest to just not put too much energy into this connection. But in some ways, it also feels like this is a lack of care. Like, I'm not too sure what the history of your connection is, but the person that you're asking about doesn't feel like they need to do anything. They don't feel, especially with Nettle reverse, this card is all about action. Its soul, well, not its soul, sorry, there's two here. Its main ruler is Mars, and then we have this little Pluto next to it. Your person doesn't feel like they need to do anything, and their intentions are to not do anything. Their intentions are to just, it is what it is. And if that's what it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. Now, I will also point out that I'm hearing the word selfish. Sorry, I just had to wipe my nose because it was leaking. I'm hearing the word selfish a lot. Like this person is either acting selfishly, or they're looking at you and thinking like you're acting selfishly, or people are talking about this situation and saying like you're both selfish. Like whatever it is, the word selfish is really dominant, and it's over here, it's over there, and it was even in the first part of your reading with that Empress energy reversed. I just felt like people are saying selfish. Now there may be a lot of gossip or a lot of talk about what happened here or what's going on in the background, but I think with the Seven of Swords reversed, this person feels like they're doing an honorable thing. They're quite concerned about how they look in the eyes of others, and they're concerned with looking like somebody who's honest, who hasn't been lying, who hasn't been sneaking around, who hasn't been cheating. And I don't feel like this is genuine, because why would it have to come out at all? You know what I mean? If you weren't sneaking around, lying, or cheating, why would you have to prove it? The idea came from somewhere. So they have this strong sense of, those are my intentions, to try to save my public image, my reputation, and to try to act in a way where people can trust me. Now with the Eight of Cups reversed, I think that's this person trying to be the bigger person, but I don't believe it. And I'm sorry if this is triggering. Sometimes the Eight of Cups reversed means somebody is willing to try again in a situation that hasn't really been improving. We're approaching it from a different angle or from a different approach so that we can have a different outcome. Now, I don't think this is about you though. I think that that's this person's intentions to shift their emotional interest elsewhere and to care more elsewhere. And again, I'm sorry if this is triggering. As soon as these two cards came out, I just felt that huge shift in energy. I will clarify with channeled messages, but I feel like this person actually thinks that they've done enough. They don't need to try harder here. They don't need to prove anything to you, but there are other people that are either connected to both of you or that have some connection to them that they need to prove themselves to. Now, if you have children, maybe that's what's going on here, but this also feels like other loved ones, family members, mothers, fathers, that kind of thing. Now you have two sevens here. We talked about the Seven of Swords already. Let's look at the Seven of Wands. Sorry, where did the Seven of Wands come from? Maybe the Mars energy over here. Seven of Cups. It came out in the blocked position, which usually I interpret as like a blocked reversal. Unless it's that way, then it's a blocked upright. But it came out blocked with the Temperance card, which to me just highlights how this person's intentions are confusing. They don't know. And I don't think that they are focused on this connection. I think that they selectively focus on this connection when they want to, when they feel like they need to for whatever reason. But they are very distracted, very preoccupied, and their heart is all over the place. Their heart doesn't really know what it wants, which is why it's adding to that word selfish. Their intentions are to give themselves space and time to prioritize what they want, which they first need to figure out. Like, what do I want? And then how do I get what I want? So the Temperance card feels like a lot of wishy-washy energy. It is Jupiter energy, and it can feel very indecisive, very unsettled, very ungrounded, which is similar to how I felt in the beginning when I was channeling your energy and opening your reading. I felt like there was this feeling of just disappointment, like I didn't have the best day today. I'm just going to watch a tarot reading on YouTube, you know, like things didn't go the way that I expected. So, let me just watch this video to see if it can, distract me from the day that I've had or from the situation that I'm in, or to see if it can actually give me some more clarity about what's going on here. So that is what your energy felt like. This energy feels like, well, I don't really want to feel like that, so I'm going to do this instead. That looks cool. Let me start that. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to put in that much time. I'll go over here and do this instead. Very distracted, very, trying this, trying that, doing this, doing that. Not at all settled, not at all focused, not at all purposeful, meaningful. Just very wishy-washy, up in the air. I do what I want and I get away with it type of energy. So let's get some channeled messages from them before we get advice for you. Spirit, what do they want to say for themselves about their intentions? What does this person want to say? I never imagined so much perfection. Yeah, they really want to work on themselves. There's that Seven of Wands. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This person has a strong connection to the archetypes of the devil. Very impulsive, very much desiring instant gratification, desiring stimulation, and also just addictive. Like they don't have a lot of self-control. Spirit, can we clarify the Let Me Have You card? What is that about? What is this person saying with the Let Me Have You card? Can we clarify that? What are they trying to say? Wow. Yeah, they're really having to prove themselves. They're really having to prove themselves. So this is the Seven of Wands. And when I created this deck originally, I wanted it to be a channeled message card that talks about feeling like an underdog and needing to really prove yourself. And when you're in separation, it can either depict this person needing to prove themselves to you, or it can indicate how much pride and how much emphasis they put on other people's views of them. And that is unfortunately what's happening here. They don't want to try for you. They want to try to prove to other people that they aren't an underdog, that they are worthy, that they are courageous, that they are, they have a lot of pride about how people see them. And that's unfortunately why this card came out as well. I feel like this person has intentions on coming out on top, making sure that they are more successful than you, making sure that they have, gotten the bigger chunk of the pie, which would resonate with that justice reversed energy. It feels very much like revenge, in that maybe it's not so much about vengeance, but it's about that idea of getting better, not getting even. I want to be better than you. And this tells us a lot about how they see themselves. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people. With the Five of Swords reversed and the Hermit card reversed, to clarify this energy, this person is saying that they intend on making things right with key people, but they're also heavily opinionated, and they refuse to sit still for long enough to self-reflect. They're not dwelling on the past. Therefore, they're making the same mistakes and they're not becoming wiser. They're repeating lessons that they should have learned by now. This lack of self-reflection and evaluation is them trying to prove that they're better, but they're missing the point. And that's what the Five of Swords is saying. They're missing the point. It's not about getting better on the outside. It's about doing better from the inside. This person is still where you left them. On the inside, they're the same person, even if their outside world has changed. And they still have the tendency to hurt those around them because they fail to observe how their actions are selfish and self-motivated at the expense of those around them. So with this Love Scares Me card, I unfortunately feel like this person did not value your connection as much as you did. And I don't think that they saw it as something balanced, as a partnership, as a collaborative connection. And I do feel like that is a pattern within this person. I think that that is a part of who they are. And I also think that it has nothing to do with you. It says nothing bad about you, but it unfortunately explains a lot of their behavior. They did not value your connection like you did. They did not share your values, your integrity like you did. And therefore they were not able to treat you the way you expected them to. And that's why with this card reversed, I don't see them actually coming back. This is the Eight of Cups again, reversed, just like it was here. They don't actually miss you. They don't even miss the connection. They have regrets over the hurt because of how it has continued to affect their lives. But they don't reflect on it enough to learn from what they did. They accept that some of it was wrong, but they're at a high risk of repeating their past mistakes by continuing to hurt the people around them. So that is the truth of their intentions. Let's close your reading with some advice, shall we? Spirit, what advice do you have for my group ones? What advice do you have for group one? We have Sage, which is blessing. Yeah, your advice is crazy. So firstly, sweet souls, before we go, before I summarize, I just want to talk about your extended reading. Now, I'll offer your extended reading on my website. There'll be a link to the page on my website in the description box and the pinned comment. Make sure that you double check that you've selected the right group before you purchase your extended reading if you would like to. We're going to have a look at what is next for you in your extended reading. And then we're also going to have a look at the positive shifts coming out of this, because I want to give you something to look forward to. So we're going to have a look at the positive shifts coming out of this. We're going to have a look at any other consolation in terms of regrets, but we're mostly just going to focus on what good is coming for you. So I'm just going to pause the video quickly to write that down so I don't forget. Okay, I apologize for my writing. I've had a lot of coffee today. Here's what we're covering in your extended reading written down. Does this person in the first part of your reading have any regrets? I also want to have a look at their karma, just because I'm feeling it. Karma. How is karma correcting them? And then we're going to have a look at what is next for you, what positive things are coming your way. So that is going to hopefully help you feel more hopeful and just more optimistic about your future and the why all of this had to happen for you. If that sounds helpful, the link to the extended readings is down below. Check that out. To close your reading here on YouTube, Sage is encouraging you to stay connected to self above all, but to the people in your life who you value. Those people keep you grounded, they protect you, and they also help to cleanse your energy. They help you process things, whether you talk to them about what's going on, or whether you simply sit with them and enjoy their energy. Their presence is incredibly healing, and those harmonious connections are a wonderful way of clearing your energy by grounding you and reminding you of who you are, so that you can move forward to claim more blessings. This card is a sign that you haven't been forgotten. Whatever happened to you in this situation was deeply unfortunate, and I cannot explain why it had to happen, but I can tell you that things will get better. And this situation was just a stepping stone towards greater, bigger things, more blessings, and ultimately more positive outcomes, which we will cover in the extended. Jupiter and the moon on this card encourage you to process your feelings so that they don't hold you back. Process your hurt so that it doesn't weaponize against you in the future. And also just find ways to expand beyond this experience, to say to yourself out loud and in your head that you deserve more and you're worthy of more and you will have more than what happened here. That is what I'm seeing for you, Group 1. I wish you all the best in your future. Look after your beautiful self as we part ways, whether I get to see you in the extended or not. I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Bye. Hi, Group 2, and welcome to your reading. We are going to be asking Spirit, what is the person on your mind's intentions towards you? Now, before we get into your reading, I want to take a quick moment to appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, Group 2. I appreciate all of your support, especially for those of you who have been following me for some time now. I appreciate you for trusting me as your messenger, and I hope that by giving you this information today, you can use it and with discernment apply it to your situation so that you can feel more empowered, more in control, more ultimately successful with whatever it is that you are putting your energy to. Now, I do feel a really strong feeling of gratitude towards you. So I do think that a lot of you have been following me for quite some time. And I think that for others of you, there's just a lot of love here. So I appreciate that. If it's coming from you, it's definitely around you. You have a lot of love and loving energy around you. And it immediately hit me with a wave of like empathy and compassion. So I hope that you are reaching out to your spiritual team, your guides, your ancestors, your angels, and I hope that you are calling on them for some of that love and really tapping into that beautiful unconditional love that is around you. To open your reading, I am going to tune into your energy. I already feel a little bit connected to you, but we're going to open your reading properly. I will be saying my little mantra. As I do that, consider setting your intentions. Think about any questions you may have. Also consider what drew you to this reading in the first place. And if there is anything specific that you need to see or hear to confirm that this reading is for you, set that now as well. Alrighty. Spirit, please tune me into Group 2's energy. Please help me offer Group 2 clear, honest messages for their reading. Thank you, Spirit. Angels, ancestors, and spirit guides, please come through clearly with clear signs of confirmation, information, and clarity that may help Group 2 navigate this connection and understand this person's true intentions. Please help me to deliver those messages clearly and effectively. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to turn my fan off because I feel like there's a little bit too much background noise. I'll be a moment. Okay, I want to open your reading by having a quick look at what is going on in this situation right now. This will help confirm that this group is for you, and it will help get me up to speed with what's going on. So, Spirit, what is happening in this connection right now for Group 2? Okay, we have the Ace of Wands with the 10 of Cups. Can I get one more card? We also have the Death card and the Hermit reversed. So there is a significant undercurrent in this connection with this Scorpio energy and the Hermit energy. And look, I'm going to focus on this first, but I just want to say with these two cards coming out, you have immediately confirmed where that energy that I felt in the beginning has come from. So I do feel like, this is a connection that has a lot of love in it. There are layers of love. There is love in your community for the two of you. Their loved ones love you, your loved ones love them. There is love for each other, and there is even children in this situation for some of you, and this love for children. Now, considering all of that, let's get some of this out of the way so we can focus more on that. Just with where I'm at, this came through very clearly. So I do want to address it before it disappears from my energy. I might hold some Amazonite to make that a bit easier. What's happening over here is there are some beautiful high vibrational energies in this connection that are both grounding, healing, and very connecting. This is the kind of relationship or connection that is very strong. It's forged through a lot of intimacy. You've spent quality time together, you spent quality time with each other's loved ones, and there is a feeling of this culminating in a beautiful way, if it hasn't already, in very, very soon. And the word culmination is important because this isn't an ending that is sad. It is a ending that is beautiful. It is like the end of a chapter that marks something beautiful. So it feels like a culmination because it's a celebration as well. It's not a sad event where we feel like we're missing out on something or we're having to grieve, something. There may be some mixed feelings where you are grieving old versions of yourselves, but really you're stepping forward into this celebration, this culmination with this feeling of joy, love, and just genuine happiness. And it's shared is the main message here. Like there's layers to it. The people around you are happy for you. The people around them are happy for them. So it feels very beautiful. Now, this kind of stuff, when it happens to us in life, as beautiful as it is, it can provoke heavier feelings. It can provoke mixed feelings. And there is an undercurrent in this connection on both sides in which you are both having to look forward to what is now and what could be in the future while also saying goodbye to what was, whatever that means. I do think that for some of you, there are layers of history here that you are currently having to either process for the first time, or in many cases, process again. You already thought you'd processed it. You thought you had, healed and reflected and evaluated and gained the wisdom. And yet, this celebration is stirring up some of those old lessons, those old experiences, and it's making you think of it in a different way. So with the Hermit card reversed, the current energies in this connection is that you are both going through a private state of processing where you're both having to uncover some of the perceived learning to see, well, why is this popping up again now? Why am I having a dream about it? Is it worth analyzing again? Is it worth revisiting? Or do I need to just sort of shelve it and try to consciously get over it? So there is something here from your different pasts, like your past, this person's past, that is kind of resurfacing. And there are some beautiful things that you're noticing when you revisit those old memories, that past and that old version of yourself. You're noticing how much happier you are now. You're noticing how much you've overcome and how far you've really come on your journey. But you're also feeling slightly afraid and maybe even concerned that that could happen again, that you may have to go through some of those tough lessons again, and that this isn't actually, as stable or secure as you thought it was. So there's kind of like shadows of doubt that try to get into your head. And for the most part, you're very good at reasoning with yourself. You're very good at trying to get out of your head and go, look, that's silly though. Like, I know that my past has created certain responses within me because of those experiences. I am projecting a fear based on that experience, but I need to remind myself that this is different. It's not going to happen in that way, and that past hurt isn't going to repeat itself. So you are kind of grappling with your inner dialogue a little bit, with your inner narrative, and just trying to kind of gain a true sense of control, but also trying to appreciate the fact that you can't control every thought you have. So, this is just part of the process of reaching some sort of milestone like this. You're going to have these sorts of ideas and thoughts and uncomfortable feelings pop up as well, which is why the Death card is here. Now, Scorpio or Virgo could be very significant. The Death card further emphasizes that this connection is at a turning point, and it feels like a beautiful turning point. We have a new beginning here. We have a culmination, a celebration here, a milestone here. And then we have death, which represents metamorphosis, change, things transmuting and shifting. In order for something new to be conceived, we have to end something else. So, this is a mixed feelings situation. Even if it's beautiful and it's worth celebrating, naturally some uncomfortable feelings pop up because it is change, and change can be uncomfortable. So I think that this is the kind of situation where you've got to ride the wave a little bit, as feelings pop up, address them, acknowledge them. Don't let them have too much control over you, but acknowledge them for what they are and let them naturally sort of roll by, pass through. And the more that you try to go against that, the more uncomfortable this process of change will be. You're only human. Change is uncomfortable because we've been conditioned to expect, and change really doesn't work if you're expecting the outcome. It's meant to give us something brand new, something we've never experienced before. So it's not something we can expect. So with that being said, I do think with the Ace of Wands here, this new opportunity in the connection has inspired a lot of passion, a lot of desires, a lot of ideas, and it's also ignited chemistry between the two of you. You're both kind of feeling like this could be a very positive new chapter where things could go anyway. There's not like a concrete plan, there's just lots of ideas, lots of shared excitement, and some really beautiful sort of mutual interests in how this connection could develop and in what you could create together. So there's strong themes of creativity, strong themes of fertility as well, and strong themes of celebration, mixed in with some bittersweet feelings of trying to process these big changes and feeling reminded of past hurts, past lessons, while you consciously tell yourself that this is not the same and this is going to be better than what you went through before, and that you can enjoy this process. So that is what's happening in this connection. If that resonates, you're in the right place. Let's have a look now at your person's intentions. Spirit, for my group twos, what is their person's intentions towards them? For my group twos, okay, we're going to take that, Peaceful Warrior, and at the back of the deck is Enchantment. Now, I don't know if Peaceful Warrior is supposed to be reversed. Let's just clarify. Spirit, reversed or upright? Hang on, let's try one more time. Reversed or upright? Yeah, it's upright. Okay, so I'm just going to pull some intuitive messages out of my own reading and channeling, and then we're going to have a look at the guidebook just to see if there's anything else that I've missed. I've just got to wipe my nose quickly as well, group two. Channeling does draw out a lot of energy. So I've noticed that a byproduct is just runny nose, runny eyes, for me at least, and lots of like burping as well, sometimes yawning. It's crazy. Okay. So these numbers may be significant. We have number 37 over here and number 23 over there. We also have Mars and the Moon on the Milk Thistle card. And we have Uranus and Mercury on the Rhodiola card. Now I do want to start with your bottom deck energy. Rhodiola's energy feels very magical. It does say enchantment. And I think with the unicorn on there, as well as those planetary rulers, there's just a lot of themes of whimsy and just enchantment, magic, and just the kind of the veil of what is real and what is fantasy being quite thin. So I think that your person's intentions are quite ideal. Like they have this beautiful vision, this beautiful fairy tale idea of where this connection could end or what it could be. And they have some sort of grand plan, and it feels grand because it's a little bit grandiose, of how this connection can look in the future, especially with Uranus's energy here. This person is thinking about the future. They're thinking about the kinds of dynamic and ultimately positive changes they could make to this connection to make sure that the two of you are making the most out of how you feel about each other. And there's something about this feeling that is very pure. It's very almost innocent and very connected to a big goal or a big dream that this person has always secretly had. So I think with the Uranus energy here, they are thinking long term. They are thinking through a lens that is quite ideal. It's kind of blurring the lines of reality and fantasy, but we're not talking about Neptune here. It's not just, in their head they're putting their ideas to work with Uranus's energy. They're exploring what they can do. They're researching how they can make this happen. And they are putting some sort of plan into place here with their intentions. Now, the Mercury energy makes me think that some people are involved in this conversation, but for the most part, they're also being very selective about their communication. So you may not even know what's going on here. Mercury's energy is smaller than Uranus. Uranus takes the lead on this card. Mercury's energy is there to add additional influence, but it's not the dominant energy. So it makes me think that this person is being careful. They're being a little bit even secretive and selective about who they talk to about this and what they kind of tell you. So I hope I'm not spoiling something beautiful by telling you all of this, but I do think that this person has this beautiful idea and they can't wait to turn it into reality. They're being patient though. Uranus knows when to act and how to act, but is also very patient. And another common theme of Uranus is surprises, especially with the 11th house. So I hope I'm not spoiling a surprise here. You could kind of connect the dots and draw some sort of conclusion. I just feel like I don't want to say it out loud, but there are some beautiful surprises that this person has up their sleeve for the future of this connection. Now, Milk Thistle has another energy here of kind of quiet confidence. With the Peaceful Warrior side of this card, I feel like this person is holding their cards a little bit close to their chest, and they are acting more than they are talking. Their feelings for you are best witnessed through their actions, through the way that they react to your energy, and through how they treat you. Especially with Mars and the Moon here, you can learn and realize a lot about what this person's intentions are based off of how they are treating you, how they are acting towards you. Now, this person is leading something in this connection, but I feel with the Moon here, maybe it's not completely obvious. Maybe it's something that they are trying to orchestrate or lead or direct from the background. And I do also think that this person has a strong desire in this connection to make sure that the both of you are addressing any feelings or fears that arise. So this person's emotional being is quite tuned in to this connection. Their intentions are to address your feelings, your fears, and to pay attention to what you're saying and what you're not saying. I do feel like they want to keep the peace with you, but they also want this connection to move forward. So the number 23 makes me think that, you know, they're handling this connection as best as they can by encouraging conversation, decisions that are, you know, shared, and this idea of like partnership with the number 2. And then with the number 3 in 23, it makes me think that there is this desire to move forward. You're not just talking about things to focus on the problems. You're talking because you want to move forward. You're addressing things because the goal is to expand and create this connection into something more. So that is the Oracle cards. Let's have a look now at some tarot. Spirit, what are this person's honest intentions towards group 2? What are this person's honest intentions towards group 2, please, Spirit? We have the 3 of Swords. Wowzers. What are this person's honest intentions? Justice. Okay. And the 7 of Wands. Can I push that up? Alright, I'm going to pull the camera back with the 3 of Cups. That's crazy. Let's pull this back. And I'm just going to check that my camera is all in view. Okay, let's clarify this card real quick so that we can be sure before I move forward. Spirit, what is going on with this Three of Swords? I already have a feeling, but I just want to confirm it with you because this is a general reading. Spirit, what is going on with this Three of Swords? Yeah, yes. Okay, so for some of you, you're dealing with somebody who has had their trust betrayed in the past. And in this situation, they need to be very careful. They've got people in their ears telling them, are you sure? Is this really what you want to do? Are you, 100% confident? And they have to address those concerns, because the people who have these opinions and who have some tension about this person's ideas for the connection are coming from the right place and are saying things out of love. So I feel like this person is going to very soon talk to you about the future of this connection, and they're going to talk to you about some honest and hard truths that from their side need to be communicated, need to be addressed in order for this connection to move forward, if that's the case. The Three of Swords is a strong, has a strong connection to the three's themes of expansion and creation. Now, the Three of Swords looks the way that it looks because it often is about talking about things that are uncomfortable, that will set us free, that will expand our futures, but it often involves addressing uncomfortable things, uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable truths, and it can lead to heartbreak and separation. But it is the kind of make or break moment that every serious relationship goes through, because you have to lay it all out there if you're going to expand together, and you have to establish a clear understanding in order to create something meaningful together. So what we're seeing here is this person addressing other people's concerns for them because of what has happened to them in the past, and because of what they are subconsciously processing, which is what we saw in the first part of your reading. They are subconsciously processing their own past and history. They are behind the scenes working through their own fear and their own sort of courage, and they are naturally wanting to come to you to address that fear and those concerns before they make this big decision. So this is what is at stake here: justice, the future of this connection, that idealized feeling, that magical fairy tale ending together. But before they truly commit to that decision, before they truly take that outcome and that desired outcome seriously, the two of you need to have this honest and clear conversation about the future and how that relates to some of those past memories and experiences that are resurfacing. Now, this person may have noticed that there has been a shift in your energy as well, which has caused them to want this conversation sooner. They are preparing for the worst with the Three of Swords here. They are preparing to hear you say, this is not what I'm actually wanting, or this is a bit too much, or, I don't really feel ready for that. And that is why the Three of Swords is here, because they have to prepare to hear the worst. They have to prepare to hear you let them down. And I do think that they also have to prepare to tell you some of their vulnerable truths. They have to put their pride to the side. They have to come with a high level of vulnerability, and they also have to consider that the people in their lives who have raised these concerns are doing that from a loving place, but it may not be a supportive place for this connection. So they are also coming into the situation feeling like, you know, they have to almost defend their loved ones and also defend their own opinion and truth in this situation. So that's why it's a Three of Swords. It's a lot of difficult energies to navigate, and it involves being truthful, vulnerable, and being prepared to hear you or they say the opposite of what you want, and to say, look, I don't want that actually. So it's a big deal. It's a big conversation. And like I said, every long-term relationship, including friendships, family connections, go through that. It doesn't always lead to separation, but it can be a very sobering moment in which we have to see our loved ones through a very different lens, because we're being told things about them that we didn't previously know. So it can kind of take off the rose-colored glasses and force us to confront some hard truths about each other before we move forward. And again, this is what is at stake here. For some of you, this is marriage. For others of you, this is a commitment to each other that hasn't already been made. And for a lot of you, this is about making sure that you're on the same page moving forward. Regardless of what has happened in the past, moving forward, you two need to be on the same page, and you have to be a united front. So that is what is at stake here. The Seven of Wands kind of highlights that feeling of vulnerability that we saw over here. This was really clarifying that card though. By itself, the Seven of Wands reminds us that this person is coming from a vulnerable place. They're not trying to be right. They're not trying to prove anything. They just want to uncover the truth, and they just want to relieve some of their stress in this connection, because they have been at this point thinking about it a lot and putting a lot of careful planning into how they're going to approach you. So they're coming towards you with this level of vulnerability and with this feeling of needing to be very careful and not necessarily strategic, but just mindful and authentic. They can't come through defensive, or they can't lead with their ego. Now, the Three of Cups reversed is a part of what we saw over here. We have the Three of Swords upright, which is the conversation, and it is a helpful conversation. It is a necessary conversation, but it is going to be a difficult conversation. The Three of Cups reversed reflects those external energies that have been, communicating things to this person and expressing things to this person that they have to address in that conversation. So overall, this person's next intentions are to address some of those external energies so that they don't harmfully interfere with your connection. And part of coming to you is about setting the record straight so that they can go back to their loved ones and say, look, I spoke to them, it's all good. I just really want to move past this. This is where we're at, and I'm happy with that. So the Three of Cups is really highlighting how this needs to happen in order to help everybody move forward and support this connection as a Ten of Cups connection. I do think with the Three of Cups reversed, this is setting the record straight with you and setting the record straight with some of these loved ones in their lives. And this is also about showing each other and those around you that you're serious about each other with this Three of Cups reversed. This isn't, just for fun. This isn't just a casual thing. This isn't just, a temporary thing. This is more than that, and the people around you should respect that as well. Let's get some channeled messages from this person about their intentions. Spirit, what does this person want to say to my group twos about their intentions? What does this person want to say to group two? Okay. Please give me time. I've never felt this way before. Nine of Swords. I am manifesting you. If I follow you, I could lose everything. Yeah, okay. Think before you act. I need more time. Do you think about me too? So the first thing that I'm noticing, are we all in frame? Yeah, cool. The first thing that I'm noticing is all of these swords. They're literally all air cards. This is based off of the Magician's energy. This is a spirit card. Spirit saying think before you act. There is a lot going on behind the scenes, which we picked up on in the first part of your reading. This person is overthinking, they're analyzing, they're having these selective conversations, which in some cases is making them, overthink more, because some of the people in their lives have very strong opinions, and those opinions are centered around protecting them. But that isn't exactly helpful for the conversation. So they're at a point where they need to come to you directly. They need to talk to you directly. And they're afraid of what they're going to hear, because at their core, beneath their logical mind, beneath how they feel about you, there is a fear of what people are saying being true. There is a fear that their worst fears will come true. And that is what the Nine of Swords represents coming out first. This person being afraid of something that they buried within them, hoping that it would never actually happen. But in this case, secretly fearing that it will happen. Now, this is a very internal process. Like I said from the beginning, this is not the obvious theme in this connection. This is the deeper undercurrent that is influencing their intentions right now, and this is influencing their immediate actions. You can expect this conversation to happen very quickly with all of this air energy. It has to be addressed, otherwise it's just going to get worse, and they know that with the Nine of Swords. They're at breaking point. They're not going to get any more helpful information if they sit on it and stew on it. They need to clear the air, and they need to address it. So I do think that the I am manifesting you card is their way of saying that their intentions right now are a little less obvious, and they don't necessarily impact their heart's desires, but they are directly influencing what this person truly wants in this connection. And we saw that this person wants something quite grandiose, quite big, quite meaningful, quite significant to happen. So they have to deal with this in order to make that happen. They also want to set the record straight. The Magician card reversed can be about getting a lot of secondary information, a lot of like through the grapevine type of stuff, a lot of secondary opinions about things. This card reversed is about cutting through all of that and trying to get their head straight, try to get the truth, remove the smoke and mirrors, remove the different opinions and everybody's, what they want you to see, and just tell me the truth, what is going on. Now, their intentions are to try to be patient with this Four of Swords. They want to come through from a rested place, not from an anxious place, not from a defensive place. They want to communicate at a point where they feel clear mentally about what they want to say, and where they're feeling confident about hearing what you have to say. So once they feel ready, that's when they will act, and they are thinking about when to do that. They're kind of leaving it in Spirit's hands a little bit and saying, just tell me when to do it. When should I do it? Now, the Five of Swords, if I follow you, I could lose everything. Similar to the Five of Wands reversed, which was at the bottom of the deck when we clarified your Three of Swords. It does involve strong opinions and this person wanting to stand up for themselves. amongst their social group, and needing to make sure that if they do follow you, they're not going to lose everything. You're not going to hurt them again, betray them in the way that they've been hurt before, and that this can be something beautiful if they choose to go against the advice of others, because I think some other people are very worried about them in this situation. So that is their channeled messages. Let's get some closing advice for you. Before we do that, I just want to talk about your extended reading. This is what we did for group 1. For you, I want to have a look at what is the outcome of this connection. And I will tread lightly. This is a general reading. We are going to base that question off of the current energy and your likely reactions to this situation. This will help us understand, what this is turning into, and this will hopefully help you navigate whatever happens with that 3 of Swords. Now, I have a beautiful feeling about this, but we're going to leave it in Spirit's hands and just have a look with Spirit at what the outcome of this connection is. We're also going to have a look at the people around them. And I just want to have a double check around them and around you. So the people around them and around you, just to have a look at, are they supportive? Now, you may already know the answer to this question, but I just want to confirm it so we won't dwell on it for too long. I just want to double check where they're coming from and make sure that you're aware of, how they are influencing this connection for better or for worse. And then we want to have a look at your next blessing in love, just so that we can finish your extended reading on the right page. And part of that is going to be advice as well. I feel like we need to have a look at how you can support this connection. How can you support? Sorry, when I write fast, I just write like this. But I will have this all neatly typed up in the description of your extended reading. So if you want to see what you can expect from your extended reading, you can click the link in the description box or the pinned comment, find the group 2 extended reading for this YouTube reading, and read the description. Make sure it's the right group. If you want to extend your reading with me, go ahead and purchase that reading or hire it, rent it, and you will gain access to those messages. But if this is where you intend on leaving your reading with me, let's go ahead and wrap it up with some advice now. Spirit, what advice can you give my group 2s in this connection based off of their person's honest intentions? What advice can you give group 2? Yeah, wow. Bardo. Your advice is to weather the storm. Like I said, every relationship has that moment with the 3 of Swords. Every relationship has to have those important, truthful, honest discussions that are uncomfortable and difficult, because that is how they move forward. That is how they expand, and that is how they develop into more meaningful connections. So you're being encouraged to weather that storm, to embrace it as part of the change that this connection needs to go through. Really embrace those shifts, embrace the opportunity to be honest, to be vulnerable, to uncover some of the things that have been lurking in your, subconscious or unconscious. Is there any fear that you can address with this person in that conversation? Is there any uncomfortable truths you can offload? And is there any other things that you need to get off your chest so that this storm can pass? Now, the number, what do we got here? 47 may be significant with the Storm card. The King card is really a sign of how this connection could move forward. It's basically an omen of this connection being very successful and of this connection leading to something quite loyal and committed. So as advice, the King card, which is also the number 12, is encouraging you to really think about your future, to think about what you want, and to think about what you need to do and say with integrity, with honor, in order to have that future with this person or without this person if that's not what you want. So the King card is encouraging you to have courage, to have honor, to have integrity, and to really lead with those honorable values in order to move forward. The Bardo card is reminding us that the main reason this is happening is so that we can move forward. The Bardo is limbo. We don't want to be in limbo anymore. We don't want to sit in this uncomfortableness anymore, lingering between the past and the future. We need to move forward, and we need to do what we can to move forward. So that's why this is happening. And the number 50 may be significant with Bardo. That is what I'm seeing for you, sweet souls. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. The link to your extended is down below if you wish to extend your reading with me. Otherwise, I wish you all the best on your journey moving forward. Thank you for supporting me in what I do here on YouTube. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Until we cross paths again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Bye. Hi Group 3, and welcome to your reading. It is so lovely to have you all here. I want to take a moment to appreciate you and to acknowledge you for supporting what I do here. I hope that in this reading I'm able to support you. I appreciate your attention, your energy, and I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to click on this video and to see what I can do for you. Now, I hope to learn more about you in your reading. I'm going to take a quick moment to open your reading properly, to ground myself in your energy, and to make sure that I'm tuned in to this connection. So while I do that, I encourage you to focus on what drew you towards this reading. Is there something specific you would like to know about your connection? Or is there something like a question that you have about this person, about the connection? And also consider any signs of confirmation that you may need to see or hear in order to claim this reading. Alrighty. Spirit, please tune me in to Group 3's energy. Please help me offer Group 3 clear, honest messages for their reading. Angels, ancestors, and spirit guides, please come through with clear, honest messages about Group 3's reading, their person's connection, their person's intentions, and their person's honest, heartfelt actions. Any helpful information about this person's intentions. Please deliver messages that Group 3 may need to hear or see, even if I'm not aware of what those messages are. Thank you. Alrighty, Group 3. I'm excited to get into this for you. You're my last group that I've chosen to film for, so you always end up being a little bit of a wild card. Let's open your reading by having a look at the current energy in this connection. This will act as confirmation for you, and it will also paint a picture of kind of what we're going into. So, what is the current energy in this connection, please, Spirit? What is the current energy in this connection? We have the Ace of Swords. What is the current energy in this connection? Page of Cups reversed. What is the current energy in this connection? The Fool reversed. And the Five of Swords upright as well. So, something about this connection feels fairly new or underdeveloped. That's how I would describe it. group 3, your connection is either in a new cycle with this fresh energy over here, or it's just underdeveloped. It seems like you're here because you want to know the truth. You want to know what's going on. You want to know where they're at. You want to know more about their actions as well. And you mostly want to know what their intentions are, because there's something going on right now that has made you feel like you need to choose yourself. Something that they did, something that they said, it made you feel like you two weren't on the same page, and you had a difference of opinions that is likely to lead to different actions in different directions. So the 5 of Swords at its core is about you and this person not being on the same page in quite a substantial way. It's not like you just have a difference of opinions. This could have led to an argument. It could have included you feeling outcasted, or them feeling outcasted by a group of people. And it also is a moment in a connection that can feel very selfish to whoever is losing, because it feels like the other person wants to be right or wants to do whatever they want to do at the expense of the connection. So it is an awkward, uncomfortable situation to be in. And I do think, if it's not currently playing out, it still feels like it is, because you're at this point now where you're thinking of that and wondering, well, okay, so what do I do now? The Page of Cups reversed is a very stunted energy. It's a feeling of having to be more direct about what you feel, instead of coming across as kind and compassionate and even empathetic towards other people and where they're coming from. Page of Cups reversed is, no, this is what I feel. And it could also indicate that in this connection, there is no understanding. There is no time to, or capacity to listen and to take on what you feel for each other and how you're feeling in this situation. So it does kind of feel like communication is very restricted, because you're not allowed to talk about everything. You're hoping to have a new opportunity to communicate something, but this reading is also going to act as a guide of what you should say and how you should say it. Now, I do think that you've got some pretty choice words that you want to say to each other. I think that you've rehearsed something in your head and you're hoping to be able to deliver it, but you're wanting to deliver it in the right way at the right time. For some of you, this person has offended you and has really made you want to give them a piece of your mind. For others of you, you just feel violated. You feel like this person disrespected you and your feelings, and you need to find a way to stand up for yourself and to really tell them it is, this is what it is. Now, I don't know when that will happen, because in this group, some of you will get the chance to do that later today. Some of you will get the chance to do that before the end of the month. And others of you don't know when you'll get that chance with the Fool card reversed. It feels like you have had to secondarily learn a lot about yourself. This connection has made you feel foolish, immature, and at the same time has helped you grow and has even maybe jaded you in some ways. So you're overcoming a sense of foolishness with the Fool card reversed. Outside of that, the Fool card reversed is this feeling of needing to prioritize your individual hopes and dreams, because it feels like in this connection you're not creating a future together. There's not a kind of railroad approach where, I love drawing in these readings at the moment. Let's say that this is you. Oh, sorry, it's not straight. I'm drawing over cards. and this is your person. So you guys each represent rail tracks. I don't know if you've seen railway lines. I'm assuming that we all have trains in our cities or towns. So that's you creating your railway track, and that is your person creating their railway track. And if you're building the same future, your tracks should be parallel. You know, you're doing your own sort of work on yourself, but you're working together. That's not how it feels. It feels like yours going this way and they're going that way. And, you know, the tracks are trying to connect, but in some cases they've already well and truly disconnected, and you're just out here creating different things. So I do think with the Fool card reversed, the connection is in a new chapter where on one hand it has been stunted, but on the other hand, what do we do now? That's the big question. What do we do now? You know, you hurt my feelings, you offended me, you said some things that I don't agree with, and this difference of opinion is making me question our similarities and our differences. So what do we do now? What do I say? And what does this mean for the future of our connection? I don't know. So if that resonates, you're definitely in the right group. Let's have a look at your person's intentions towards you now. For my group threes, please, Spirit, what are their person's intentions towards them? Group three. Group three, please, Spirit. What are their persons? Okay. Oh, this is the first time that card has come out. I was wondering when it would come out. Okay. Let me just drink some more water. Actually, it's not water. I've got coffee. I know I already have caffeine shakes, but it's just because I've been rushing around. Actually, I might just grab a tissue. Sorry, group three. I'll be back in a second. Okay. I hope that was just a second for you. Anyway, I'll figure it out in the editing process. With this cannabis card coming out first, it's really important that we notice all the symbolism on this card. There may be hidden clues. We are looking at Saturn and Neptune at the top. What an interesting combination of planets, Saturn and Neptune. We can see Saturn over here with its rings, and we can also see this figure, I hope you can, who is almost like separated. We can see their physical vessel, and we can see an outline of their physical vessel, which I'm guessing is an interpretation of their spiritual entity, their soul, their spirit. And then we've got this sign of like movement and momentum energy almost being pulled by this portal over here. Now there's another portal down here, and I know a little bit about this card. I've read a little bit more from the guidebook since our last reading on YouTube, and I know that the author of this deck has the opinion that cannabis contains properties that can really detach you if you're not careful. This is according to the author. This card represents times in our lives where we feel like the lessons and the way that we cope with our lessons is creating two versions of ourselves. One that is trying to escape reality through coping temporarily and band-aiding those bigger feelings or issues or concerns or fears. And the other version is having to try to continue in reality without being complete. So that splitting can impact how present we are, how connected we feel to our life here on earth, and it can also disconnect us from our experiences if our spiritual vessel is not able to be present in our human vessel, or vice versa. If our human vessel doesn't feel connected to our spiritual vessel, the both kind of need to work together to help us feel grounded. Now, this opinion is very, to me, controversial. So I'm not aligning with it. You know what I mean? Like, not just because I'm trying to avoid controversy, but I just think that you could look at it the other way as well. I'm a bit of a devil's advocate, being a Capricorn and Saturn stellium. And I think that sometimes these moments of detachment between our physical vessel and our spiritual vessel are essential for our survival. You know, that's the way that we cope. We can't be present when we go through some really traumatic stuff. How are we supposed to be able to, you know, cope? That's not physically possible. It's not spiritually possible. So I don't think that this is a bad card, but I think that it does highlight, in this case, that your person's energy towards this connection and their current intentions is to try to detach, to try to pull back, and to try to find a way, either physically or spiritually, to figure this out for themselves. Now, this indicates that they're not coping with the reality of their actions. They're not coping under the pressure of these lessons, and they have done something to instigate a heavy dose of karma, and they're feeling quite overwhelmed. Saturn is coming down hard on this person and is really making them feel like they need to find a way to escape. They're looking for a way to escape. They're looking for other things to blame. They're looking for other people to distract them. They're looking for ways to cope. They're looking for things to kind of distract you. And, you know, take it to whatever scale matches. There's always an extreme scale in these readings that are general, and there's always a lesser scale. But there is this feeling here of trying to cope through detaching and projecting blame or responsibility onto anything they can, because they just feel overwhelmed by what has happened in this connection and by what they need to do if they want to right their wrongs. And Saturn is more than just values, you know. Saturn isn't just about, oh, you did something bad and now you're a bad person. That's more like Venus's energy and Libra's influence with Venus's energy. Saturn punishes you because energetically your actions have consequences on a universal scale. So it's not about you hurt this person and now you're a bad person. It's about you did something that affected a lot of different energies and entities in this universe. And now to balance that out, here is what needs to happen. And that's why karma is not just about punishing. It is about balancing. It's kind of like a universal maths equation where you're trying to balance both sides of the formula. Now over here, with the passion flower at the back of the deck, your person's overall intentions. Let's just break this card down like we did before, actually. We have Neptune again. We also have the moon. We have the number 43. The card says surrender. And we've got some crazy symbolism. This gorgeous being who looks quite ethereal. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if she was just supposed to be a human, but very ethereal, with this beautiful passion flower over their head. I don't want to assume gender, we're beyond that, but they've got these owls as well to represent wisdom and sight, of being able to see information even in the darkest of places. So very feminine energies, very intuitive energies. And the surrender really tells us more about this card. With that card reversed, this person is not surrendering helpfully. They're actually trying to release, and they're trying to escape, and they're trying to distract, and they're getting caught up in false realities, false visions. And now this is where I kind of am going to contradict myself a little bit. I'm really coming through as devil's advocate for everything I'm saying, and I apologize if that's confusing, but I feel like this is a connection that is confusing. So I just want to cover all bases. with Neptune and the moon here, this person is in this sort of energy where I personally believe that everything we do makes us who we are. And, you know, we can do some really horrible things, but we can also in our present moment choose to change our actions to try to change some horrible cycles. This person is not in that energy of change. They're in an energy of trying to get away with not having to change right now. And this card makes me think that this is somewhat intentional. It is either that they've managed to trick themselves into believing that they're not a bad person, bad things are just happening to them, or they're actively, consciously convincing themselves that what they're doing and what is happening to them right now is unfair. It's a lot of bad stuff one after the other, and they're only human. There's only so much they can do. And so they're in the energy of continuing to do these things rather than breaking the cycle, especially with the moon reversed and Neptune. This person has created a version of reality where they're allowed to get away with what happened because they're only human, because life is hard. Bad things happen to them, so now they're doing bad things too. And that's where they've perpetuated that cycle instead of being the one to break it. So whatever's happened here, we're actually going to keep that. Whatever has happened here may resemble something that has already happened to them in some way, shape, or form, or it resembles an unwillingness to learn and to change, regardless of how much bad they do. And I'm using that word very rudimentally. There's obviously, again, a scale of extremes to that, but no matter how much bad they do, they have an excuse. And that says a lot about their journey right now, of where they're at and what they're feeling overwhelmed by. There's layers here. So let's clarify with tarot, what are this person's intentions towards my group 3's spirit? I can't believe we got the Page of Cups again. Okay. So 8 of Wands at the back of the deck. Knight of Swords. I'm going to fix up the camera too. Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups. All right. Okay, let me drink some water really quickly. I don't know why I keep saying water. It's coffee. It's coffee. All right. So with the 8 of Wands reversed, I do think that this marries into what we've already covered. I've been talking for 20 minutes. You're probably going to be my longest group. What we've already covered is confirmed here. This person is not feeling motivated, passionate, confident. They are avoiding. There is no investment of energy. There is frustration. There is maybe even some buildup of anger and resentment, but there is a desire to try to ground that energy and to try to keep that energy on the ground. I do think that with the Knight of Swords, Page of Cups, Queen of Cups, this is a complicated connection, and there could be more than one person involved here. There could be more than one person affected. There could be levels of hurt, and there could be layers of social impact where you have had to kind of call on loved ones for support, and now they feel invested in this as well. With that being said, the Queen of Cups reversed, this person's intentions are to focus on themselves. They want to address their own wounds, their own healing, and they want to come from a place that is centered around their own emotional needs. So they're looking to satisfy their own emotional needs They don't have a lot to give. Emotionally, this person's capacity is very limited, and they can't be a supportive person to you. They can't give you the empathy you deserve, the care that you deserve, and they can't afford to lose any focus on themselves, which is a little bit similar to our Page of Cups energy. Reversed, we talked about it in the beginning, it's still here. So they're still in this space of needing to be direct, needing to be focused on their own feelings, and not trying to people please or do too much for other people. And this makes me think that when it comes to this connection, you're going to get a version of this person that is going to pick and choose when they communicate and how they communicate. They don't feel like communicating right now with the Page of Cups reversed and the Eight of Wands reversed. They feel like just pulling away, licking their wounds, and trying to get over this. This person is in a mood, for lack of a better word. They're in a mood, and this mood is very hurt. It's holding a little bit of a grudge, and it feels like it doesn't really know what to do. So we're seeing actions and behavior with these two cards that is quite immature. They don't want to talk. They don't want to address anything. They just want to pull away and wait until they know what they should do. And they're not responding well to any offers of support unless this support is centered around enabling this person's pattern. Now, the Seven of Pentacles does kind of highlight a feeling to really detach, to disconnect. That takes it to a next level. We saw detachment with the Cannabis card, but now the Seven of Pentacles is about uprooting. It's about ripping things out, regardless of how much time and effort we've put into this. It's not going to grow. It's not going to get better. We need to really drastically reconsider what we're doing here. And the Seven of Pentacles is very much about, those seeds aren't fulfilling. This path isn't for me. So I really think that that's where this imagery kind of came from. You guys do feel like you are two railway lines moving in different directions. This isn't going to work. From their point of view, there is a feeling here of like, oh, like I put so much time and effort into this. So I don't know if you share that same feeling or if you feel like that is fair for them to feel that way. But there is this feeling of like, wow, I really put a lot into this and now I have to give up on it. There are so many different cards that can represent, walking away or leaving something behind and giving up on it. In the beginning, we had those cards that indicated a new beginning or a fairly new connection. From this person's perspective, it's not new. They've put in work. They've put in time. This isn't an ace. This isn't a page. This isn't the Fool, a new chapter. This is abandoning something that was meant to be more. It was meant to last longer. This connection should have lasted longer, and it ultimately, they feel like it wasted their time. So I'm sorry that may offend you. I'm offended saying it out loud to you, but that's how it feels coming from their energy. With the Knight of Swords finishing this part of your reading, I feel like this person is going to do whatever they can as quickly as they can to try to get themselves out of this. And this is where we see impulsive action and hasty decision making. This feeling of like trying to rush away or rush forward or rush into something new. So, they're likely to do something that is not very smart. It's not very intelligent. It's not very well thought through. It's just, I need to fix this quickly. I'm in crisis mode. I need to figure out how to really get myself into a better position, and I need to do it fast. So that really aligns with the energy that we saw up here. They're not surrendering. They're trying to fix this for them, and that's their intentions. Now, this person may do something that does affect you, whether that's, randomly stopping by to pick up a lot of their things, or doing something to really confirm that they want to be two separate pathways. And it feels like you find out not from them, but from their actions. Like you get a notification that they've spent money from your joint account. And when you try to confront them about it, you find out that they've put a deposit on another apartment. That's how it kind of feels. Like this person isn't using direct communication. They're rushing to make a bunch of choices to protect themselves without really thinking it through and without truly realizing how it looks and how it affects you. So that's what I'm seeing for their intentions. Let's have a look at some channeled messages now. What do they want to say to you about these intentions? And what does this person want to say to group 3, Spirit? What channeled messages does this person have? Okay, we have the 4 of Swords. I need time for me. We also have I'm addicted to you. We have the 7 of Cups. Do you even see me that way? Okay. We have the Devil, Sex. I want to start a family with you. I feel the same way. And at the back of the deck is definitely... Is that all in frame? Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So... Apologize if it's crooked. I'm kind of like moving the camera but while I can't really see what's going on, so I'm just getting an angled view, so trying to make it straight but also trying not to waste time doing that. Yeah, this person's intentions are pretty solid. Like they're pretty set in stone that this is what they need to do. Whatever's happened between you, they feel like they need to rebuild. They need to make themselves a stronger, better version, and they need to prioritize their security, their stability. They need to fortify their foundation. So they're coming across as a bit stubborn, a bit bullheaded. So those fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, who else is a fixed sign? Aquarius and Leo, as well as Aries, just because of the ram, could be significant. And we're seeing more Capricorn here as well. So I do think that they are in this energy of trying to figure something out that they think is going to give them the stability that they need right now. And that's the thing, they're not thinking long term. Their intentions are to find that sense of connection. And this is really interesting because we're looking at them saying, I don't feel the same way as you. And yet we have this card here, I want to start a family with you. Notice how these cards are placed. We have the emotional separation here. And then we have the idea of what our future could have been here, the 10 of Pentacles. And then we have the Devil card here, which is physical attraction and the element of physical temptation with sex. And then we have Vices up here, another interpretation of the Devil card, feeling stuck in a cycle of addiction because it feels good at the time, even though it tends to become a need at the expense of other healthy aspects of our lives. So with the 4 of Swords reversed next to it, we're seeing how that need to have that fix and that temporary relief and escape has come at the expense of sitting still for long enough to be able to process what has happened. They're saying in this case that their actions had to be very quick, very reactive, and their actions came from a space of, this is what I think I need to do right now. But with the 4 of Swords reversed, they're not really quite ready. They're just they spent some time thinking about it, and now they're just out here doing it. So the plan doesn't feel very well thought through. It feels very much like a reaction out of crisis and out of need. And that's why we see the 7 of Cups next to this addiction card as well. More Neptune energy here, more Saturn energy here. This feeling of, I'm in a really tough situation. I'm not coping well. I'm doing what I know will work. And I'm choosing to believe in that. With the Seven of Cups, it may not be your version of the truth, it may not be other people's version of reality, but it's my reality. And it's hard to kind of express this. So I hope that it's resonating. I hope that it makes sense and it kind of helps you understand why they're doing what they're doing. Because I feel like if you weren't in this person's head, if you're just looking at what they're doing on the outside, it doesn't make sense. You know, they're doing this, they're doing that. And if, again, to bring it back to formulas and maths, if we were going to make that action add to that action minus that reaction, it's not making sense. Like, it just doesn't equate. It doesn't balance out. And that's why things are really catching up to this person, because they're not thinking ahead. They're not putting careful thought into what is going on. And this does make me think that they have this feeling of like, what is happening? On a deeper level, I think that they realize that this isn't a sustainable way of living, but they're just doing what they can with what they've got and with what they're choosing to see. So is there anything else you can tell group 3 from the channeled messages, Spirit? I did see myself, sorry, this is first person, it just came through. I did see myself having a future with you, and I did see us having something more together at some point in our connection. At this stage, I still want that, and I need that, but I can't have that with you. So I'm trying to find ways to create that for myself, and I'm doing what I can to ensure that I have a successful future, and that in some cases our kids have a successful future, if that resonates. I need to make sure that my life is lived on my terms. I want to be satisfied. I want to feel like my life is what I want it to be. And it may not make sense to you, but this is what I want. This is what I need. And I don't think that I can get that from you. I don't feel like we're on the same page. And I do feel like we have different goals, different feelings for each other, let alone for life and about life. My vices, my ways of coping don't necessarily define me, but I need to be around people who don't judge me for that and who accept that that is who I need to be right now and how I need to live right now. And, you know, I'm very motivated to continue living this way until I can gain some sort of stability and foundation to support myself out of this. But for now, that's the only way that I am coping. Sweet souls, I feel I need to cut it there because I don't want to channel this first person. It's a bit too personal, especially for first thing on a Friday morning. But I do feel like this person may be using sex and physical intimacy to gratify and to cope and to try to get what they want. Like, I do think that in some cases, sex and physical intimacy is part of this person's cycle of using and coping. So I just needed to put that out there. Is there anything else helpful we can give to this group, Spirit? Something helpful? I want to really direct it back to you. I don't want to end it like this. So I'm going to get advice. Look at that. Love me, don't love me, reversed. I just want to talk about your extended reading first. I did this for the other two groups. The extended readings are tailored to the groups this time around. So I encourage you to click the link to the extended readings page on my website in the description box of the pinned comment, and click on your group, read the description, make sure it's your group 3, and just have a look at what you can expect from your reading. For this group, I feel like we need to focus on closure for you. How can we get closure for you? We also need to look at how do you move forward, because this person's energy is very focused on how can they move forward. And look, you may be in a good place. We haven't really looked into your energy much, but I don't want to leave it like this completely. So we're going to close your YouTube reading with some advice for you. But in your extended reading, we're going to focus on you in a more positive way. How can you move forward? How can you get closure from this? And what can you look forward to next? And then we're going to focus on life and love. Just to just to really focus on that more positive energy. And look, I'm a very realistic reader. I don't try to sugarcoat things, as you would know, because you've been here throughout this reading that was not sugar-coated. But I do like to try to be helpful. I don't want to just sort of leave you with heavy energy and say, all right, bye. So let's try to help you before we move into the extended. Spirit, what helpful advice can you give my viewers of group 3 when it comes to this connection? Wow, the village card reversed. So that is the number 41. We also have the ring reversed, yeah. So this is the number 57. At the back of the deck is the mask. Spirit is saying straight away, honor the truth. You know, don't get lost in the details. See it for what it is. In this situation, it is black and it is white. And that is in terms of looking at things for what it is. Don't get carried away in the details. Don't get carried away in the deception, in the lies. The mask reversed indicates that truth has been revealed. The truth has come out for a reason, and it is time to take action and to really consider what is happening here with the mask reversed. What is being revealed to you? How have you been enlightened? And what can you do with that information? How can you help yourself now that you have the truth? Now, with the mask reversed, there are layers and layers and layers of truth. And you could spend the rest of your life trying to unmask the truth, trying to fully delve into the layers of what is happening here, the layers of what has been hidden from you, either from this person or from the universe or from other people. But that's not the point. You have to decide, when will I accept that it is what it is, and this truth is trying to shed light on a new path for me, and I really need to focus on that new path. You have to figure out, when am I ready to focus on my new path instead of trying to continue to solve the truth here. Because by focusing on what happened in the past, you're missing out on what could be your future. So that's why I hope in the extended reading we're able to get you the clarity that you need so that you can move forward and not focus too much on what has already happened and miss out on what could be happening for you. The village energy reversed is encouraging you to separate yourself from people who may cause you further harm, people who enable this person, who have enabled you to stay with this person, or who have perpetuated that cycle of sabotage and hurt. Your social circle is about to get a lot smaller with the village reversed, but it is for good reason. You need to filter out anything and anyone that is not a part of your journey moving forward. And you need to find ways to set boundaries with people who you do still need to interact with, so that you can create your new village and your new sense of support around you. And look, this may come across as being quite haphazard, like you don't want to just cut people out of your life, but it is going to happen. You may notice some people already distancing themselves from you because of what has happened here. But Spirit is encouraging you to see this as a remodeling of your village. You're making room for new people and for the right people. And, a village isn't strong by its numbers. A village is strong by its shared culture, by its shared values. And the idea of a village is that you help each other, you support each other. You don't need a lot of numbers to do that. You need the same culture, the same sense of responsibility, accountability, and compassion. So that's what you need to focus on when it comes to who stays in my village and who am I distancing myself from. Now, with the ring energy here, it is really important that you take this as a lesson in value. What you value is not always what other people value. And look, you deserve whatever it is that you want from love, from connections, from relationships. So the ring is here to say that you have the ability to gain partnership, commitment, loyalty, love, and trust again in the future. But it's important that you see those things as values, and they are valuable. They don't just happen. They shouldn't just be given to whoever for whatever reason. They should be honored. They should be cherished. And you deserve somebody who respects your values and who understands how valuable you are as a partner and as a friend, as a part of a village that they're in. You are a valuable asset and you have a lot to give. So therefore you also have a lot to gain by making sure that you're giving your loyalty, your commitment, your trust to those who are going to reciprocate and honor that. So I hope that that was a helpful way of summarizing. I'm going to end your YouTube reading there, group 3. I really appreciate you. I didn't get to learn much about you in this reading, except that you're incredibly resilient and strong, and this situation was a lot to go through. And, I can't even imagine where you're at your journey. And I fully send you so much love, so much light in terms of enlightenment, clarity, and so much support on your journey moving forward. I hope that by breaking down this person's intentions, you're able to get the confirmation you need and maybe some of the clarity or closure or even just extra pieces to the puzzle. If you're joining me in the extended reading, link is below. But until we do cross paths again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Bye.